Hey there! Tired of spending forever seeding nursery trays by hand? Meet the Quick Click Drop Seeder. It makes seeding trays super fast. Just a click and you're done. You can seed multiple trays in no time, making your nursery work way easier. Plus, it works with paper pot trays, microgreens, and any other tray that you have. Say goodbye to tedious seeding and hello to more time on the farm. Join hundreds of other farmers and try the Quick Click Seeder today. Available at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below. When it comes to a seed starting mix, what do you think is really important to have in there?
Okay, well, we make a seed starter. It's our newest product. It's a brand new product for us that started, it launched in February, right? And got into the stores right as this whole thing happened. Our seed starter is really simple. It's basically a mixture of peat and of coir. It's got 25% compost in it, and it's got some really small perlite in it. And it's a really good, airy, light mix. And the compost, which most seed starters don't have that in it, have any kind of real compost or casting in it. What it does is it helps hold moisture, and it helps germinate. And then once it germinates, you actually have, in a very natural way, a way for those little tiny roots to start to absorb stuff that it needs, whatever it needs to absorb. So we've had a really incredible result with it. We've been making it for several years. It's finally in a bag. It's also great as a microgreen grow. So I've got a bunch of microgreen growers that grow on a big scale that we've been using that mix for some time. And I grow a lot of microgreens at home here. And it's different from the potting soil, because with the potting soil, what we did is, our potting soil, we were asked to go to create a super clean organic potting mix for Electronic Arts, who shared a campus with Google up in South San Francisco, because the landscapers were taking down a bunch of different stuff and creating kitchen gardens. So we created that mix. So we wanted to have something that was true organic, non-GMO, biodynamic, and that it had none of the usual suspects, or as few as possible, in terms of soil mixes. So we didn't have the bone meal, the blood meal, the feathered meal, none of the stuff that we don't believe in. And what we have in there is a really clean mix that gets tested all the time, and it's a really effective mix. That potting soil mix was designed to grow food, and it grows food really well. You can adjust that for other types of crops. You can adjust that. I grow roses in it. I grow fruit trees in it. I grow all kinds of stuff in it. And a lot of people grow cannabis in it. And depending on, they may add a little bit more perlite, they may, or pumice, or, whatever their strains or whatever they're doing, so it's a good mix that is a standalone mix. But it's one of those ones where I tell people all the time, you got to start feeding. Depending on what you're growing, it's not something where you're just going to put water on it and let it go for 6 months or 8 months or a year, because it's going to lose its efficacy, and you need to help that out. You need to help the soil out. It's a good start, potting soil.
Right, and I'm looking at the ingredients of that one online. That's Baby Boo's Biodynamic Blend potting soil, and that's a mix of coir, compost, the perlite, worm casting, soybean meal, fish bone meal, alfalfa meal, crab meal. So you are getting nutrients in that compost. They're just not coming from those CAFO operation type sources.
Yep. And what you're doing in there is we created this mix. You have a really good, strong, diverse mix of natural fertilizers and the compost in a good media. And it gets everything off to a great start. Or if you're repotting stuff, it's got something that right away, boom. Like when we repot, fruit trees or roses or whatever in them that are in containers, they take to it immediately. but it's one of those things where then I tell people like, great, I love that you're using Baby Boost, but now you got to start top dressing, with the 16th of an inch and 1/8 of an inch of compost. You got to start running compost teas. You need to keep, especially when you're looking at things in a container or a raised bed, we have to help play the part of nature when we're doing that. Because it's not like my raised beds have a dirt bottom, so I've got a lot of biology in there. But when you first start them, it doesn't just happen in 1 second. You have to build that, But when you're growing, in like when I grow my potatoes or other things that I grow just in containers, I have to be that person that's conscious about what would happen in nature and what do I do. And so by top dressing with compost, by running a tea, I'm in a really natural way and gentle way and not stressful way, giving the soil what it needs. So, and it makes the Baby Booze. One of the things that was really funny about the Baby Booze, we got a letter from the contractor on that site's a world famous landscape contractor. We got a letter from one of the vice presidents from their office in San Francisco that wrote back glowing reviews on the product. But he said one of the things that was the most interesting thing about this was that with most soils, we're having to, kind of come back in and fill up with a lot of soil, in every 4, 6, 8 months because of what we were talking about with having all the wood chips and stuff in there that, with this stuff, basically, if you're top dressing with the compost and running the teas, the shrinkage factor, the breakdown factor is so much more natural. And, he said, granted that your product was a little bit more expensive than other things we've used, but in the long run, what you told us is true. It's not more expensive.
Hello, growers. If you enjoy podcasts like this one, tune into my podcast In Search of Soil on YouTube for a deep dive into the mysteries beneath our feet. Join me as I explore topics such as mycorrhizal fungi, mushrooms, compost, biochar, and more. It's a soil nerd's dream. We're going deep. We're talking to scientists about all things soil related. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or a gardener just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Check out In Search of Soil on YouTube.